Well, hello everybody. This is the MTG dudes. Looking at Star Wars. I have not got any more comments on what I can change my name to for the screen, but I'm probably going to go back and forth between MTG and Star Wars. But right now, Star Wars has my full interest. I'm sorry I'm doing it this way. I don't have the know-how to do how the going straight from the computer onto the recording, so I have to do it through my phone to the computer to the recording. But there are some spoilers released, not a lot, but there's a few, and I want to cover those today. So Star Wars has really taken off, the Unlimited game, and I want to start off with the leader, the Mandalorian. He is coming out in the next set. The next set comes out in July. We are in April, so we have a couple months yet. But Star Wars has really taken off. It's really been hitting big, and I think it's just going to get bigger. It's a fun game. I've enjoyed it. I've taught a couple people how to play it. They've learned to enjoy it. A couple people are still kind of iffy about it because it's new. But I think the longer it lasts, the more it's going to be interesting. But let's start off with the spoilers. I'm going to start off with going over this card first, this part of the card. This is the leader, the Mandalorian, which is Din Djarin. And I'm going to move it over here, so that way I'm not on my mouse here. The Mandalorian is a 6-cost leader, and it is the sworn to the creed. He's a ground unit, 4/7 Mandalorian bounty hunter, which the next set is supposed to be focusing on bounty hunters. It looks like it's coming out of the Mandalorian. But anyway, he's a 4/7 for 6. He's yellow and rebel. And when you play an upgrade, you may exhaust an enemy unit with 6 or less remaining HP. That is kind of a control build-ish type thing. So exhausting a unit can be very, very handy. I know I've used it on occasion with different cards. It is fun. And then that is the unit side. Ground unit, 4/7. When you play an upgrade, you may exhaust an enemy unit with 6 or less remaining HP. I can't talk. So I can find a lot of uses out of that one. And then on the flip side, it costs 6 resources to flip them, obviously for the epic action. Epic means it's once per game. And when you play an upgrade, you may exhaust this leader, which most of them are going to exhaust anyway, but no cost is always nice. And if you do, you can exhaust an enemy unit with 4 or less remaining HP. So you don't have to have any cost to doing this action. It is just when you play an upgrade, you may exhaust this leader, and if you do, exhaust an enemy unit with 4 or less remaining HP. I can see a lot of decks coming out big with that. So that is the first leak that we've had. Spoiler, leak, whatever you want to call it, which is the Mandalorian. So let's move on. We have a lot of stuff to cover, and we're going to cover it really, really fast. I can see a lot of uses out of this guy. And so when you move down to it, the next card I want to look at is the Mandalorian unit. I could have done that. Okay. So the next card I want to look at is the Mandalorian unit. He is another 6 cost. He's a 5/6 Sentinel, so that's always nice. And I can see this being used in like a Luke build. Has a nice picture of him and Grogu together. Really nice. And then he is a 5/6 for 6. And when played, you may heal all damage from a unit that costs 2 or less and give 2 shield tokens to it. So he is a Sentinel. He can give 2 shield counters, and he heals a 2-cost unit. There's a lot of applications you can do with that one. There's not a lot of stuff that actually heals units. There's some, but there's not a lot. But having this guy able to do that is really nice. So that's the second spoiler. We're going on to the next one. And we have just an upgrade. It is wanted. So attached unit gains bounty. Ready 2 friendly resources, and when this unit is defeated or captured, its opponent collects its bounty. So basically, I think this goes on a unit, and when it dies, the opponent gets it back. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look into it. But for a zero cost free thing, it looks like it could be a very much a steal. Yeah, so basically you put this on a unit that an opponent controls, and then when it... Oh, the bounty, I think, is when the opponent collects the bounty, they ready to friendly resources. Okay. So, again, this game is new, so it takes some learning, and I'm kind of learning as I read these, but... So, attached unit gains a bounty, and when it dies, you can ready to friendly resources. When this unit is defeated or captured, its opponent collects its bounty. So you can put this on an opponent's unit. I'm so used to saying creature because of magic, but you put this on an opponent's unit, and then when it dies, you can ready 2 resources. That's your bounty. So that is another card. So the next spoiler we're looking at is Grogu himself. 2 for a 0/5. That is really nice. It's a force unit. Let's try to get that off the cursor. And he is a 0/5, so he has no power, but you can, as an action, you can exhaust an enemy unit. To have multiple sources that can exhaust enemy units is pretty powerful. Again, that goes in a control build. It's very nice. You can build a deck to basically keep your opponents exhausted all the time. I've kind of started to do that with a deck, but it takes way too long to get it to do what I want it to do, so I didn't keep it with it. But that's a nice card. That is 4 of the 5. And the last spoiler is another leader. It's an Imperial unit, Moff Gideon. And his is an action. You can tap him. Attack with a unit that costs 3 or less. If it's attacking a unit, it gets +1/+0 for this attack. You only need 5 resources to flip it. So attack with a unit that costs 3 or less, and if it's attacking a unit, it gets +1/+0 for this attack. So if you have a 4/3 Sentinel, like Echo-based Defender, and I'm just throwing a card out there, I'm not even being specific with it, but you're attacking something with it, instead of it being a 4/3, it's now a 5/3 if it's going after a unit. It'll be a 4/3 going after a base. Either way, it's really nice. On the flip side, Moff Gideon is a 3/6 when you flip it for 5 resources. He's a black and green. And when attacking an enemy unit, deal excess damage to the opponent's base, so he's overwhelmed. And each friendly unit that costs 3 or less gets +1/+0 and gains overwhelm while attacking an enemy unit. So everything is based on attacking enemy units. So if you're not attacking an enemy unit, it is what it is. If you're attacking the enemy base, it is what it is. If you're attacking an enemy unit, which Imperials are very easily able to put a lot of 3 cost or less creature units out, air, ground, all of that. The Death Star Stormtrooper, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Snowtrooper, the Snow Legion Stormtrooper, the Ty Ellen Fighter. I mean, there's a lot of different Imperial stuff you can throw out at General Tag, Moff, and Admiral Mahdi, Admiral Piet. A lot of them are 3 costs or less. So they will get an extra power when they attack a unit. And some of those you want to die. But yeah, there's a lot of uses for this guy. I like Tarkin. This guy would be another one that would be very strong as a leader. And he's only 5, but he's a little bit stronger than what Tarkin is, has less defense. But I can see him being a very similar effect to what Tarkin is, except that Tarkin makes him bigger. On a permanent basis, Gideon does it on attacks. But his resources, but as a leader unit, he does not cost resources, whereas Tarkin does. So those are the 5 spoilers I have for spoiler season. There's not a lot to go with, but that's 5 new cards for Star Wars that's going to be coming out. It's super exciting. The game is fantastic. And just think, we are throwing in the Mandalorian TV series as the main cards. It's exciting. You've already got some stuff from the Battlefronts 2. Now you're getting stuff from the Mandalorian. And just doing Bounty Hunter is really cool. I'm wondering if you're going to see possibly some Cad Banes. He'd be a good one. Boba Fett might have another one. And I'm just going off the top of my head, but I'm just thinking what was in the series. There was Boba Fett's assistant that was a bounty hunter that became his assistant. I can't think of what her name is. But she was good. You have the mechanic that made Boba Fett's new ship in the third season. Well, really the second season and the third season she was involved helping repair the ship. You have the rebel guys the rebel fighters that, X-Wing fighter pilots that are there. I mean, what do you guys think? There is a lot of different characters from the series that can be thrown in there. There's Cara Dune. There's the guy that Carl Weathers plays. I can't think of it off the top of my head. In the last season, Carl Weathers teamed up with the Mandalorian to go after him. He was driving another one of those Imperial cruiser ships. Just so many options that we can throw in there. And it's probably, and my guess is a lot of it's going to be from the TV series. It's exciting. What do you guys think? Give me your opinion. And I cannot do this without you guys helping me to like, share, and subscribe these videos. I appreciate it. And on a side note, I'm not going to make a side note, but I've got my dragon watching. If you look at him, he is sitting there just going, okay, are you done yet? And then I've got a turtle and some other stuff. But this is exciting. So we got some spoilers. Text me, message me. And that is on the thing. So now I've gone down. So we have 5 new cards. Tell me what you guys think. Where do you think this set's going to go? What do you think of the game itself? Just give me your opinions. I know I'm just starting to get more and more views on these videos, and that's exciting too. I'm kind of going all over the place, but I've already done a couple deck techs. What are your thoughts on those? I've redone a lot of the... I've gone up to 5 decks, gone back down to 2 decks. I've been buying more cards, just more specific. I bought 3 boxes. I think that gave me most of what I needed, but now I'm just being more specific on my buys. Like I said, give me your opinions, your thoughts. There's a lot of thoughts I'm really interested in knowing, and I'm just going on and on here, but I haven't done a video for a little bit, and with my work schedule, it makes it very hard for me to do videos. So please like, share, subscribe. That's very important. Thumbs up. That's all I ask. 1 thumbs up from each subscriber. Let's see if we can hit 200 subscribers. I know right now I'm below 100, but let's go for 200. I'm going to throw more MTG stuff out. I'm going to throw more Star Wars stuff out, and I'm going to get another deck tech out eventually. So big things coming up. It's not going to be as productive as some of these other channels that are more consistent, and I know mine's not the most consistent. I apologize for that, but I am just a busy beaver, and I try to throw out content when I can. And seeing these spoilers, I was super stoked. So get back with me, let me know, and I will chat with you later. You guys have a blessed one.